Thursday, May 18th. Welcome back to the UBEC podcast, and thanks for tuning in. I'm Wild Will Walnuts, one half of the Unholy Brotherhood of the Electric Church. I'd like to take a second to thank everyone who has supported us so far on this project. It's been a lot of fun, and we're going to hopefully keep doing more. I would also like to thank everyone who has subscribed to the channel and followed us on Facebook. Your support means a lot to us both and is extremely appreciated. Also, we'd like to thank our sponsor of this week's show, Henry's Pleasure Palace off Virginia Avenue in Hagerstown, Maryland. Your one-stop shop for adult books, movies, toys, and gifts. Stop in to see Henry today or any day this week and tell him UBEC sent you for $10 off your first order of $50 or more. Thank you to Henry's Pleasure Palace for sponsoring this show. And without further ado, the man who hates everything that you love, the almighty and unholy apostle, D-Rock. Give it to him, D.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another week, another episode of the UBEC podcast. Thanks for stopping in. What can I fucking say? Really, what can I say? I mean, this week's been a shit show for everybody, I think. Monday, I don't even know what happened Monday. I don't remember Monday at all. Like, Monday didn't happen for me. I don't know why or how, or it disappeared from memory altogether. Tuesday, I was sick. I had the shits. It was pretty rough. And I thought it was just something I ate, but apparently everybody at work's got it. So everybody's just shitting everywhere. Yesterday, uneventful. We fed the masses down at a plant in West Virginia. We gave them some of that good old AC&T fried chicken.
Where were you at in West Virginia?
The Inwood area.
Okay.
Some good old, down home hicks down in those neck of the woods, Inwood. I don't know. Inwood, they're growing that place up, dude. Like, it's actually coming up in the world. It's amazing the way it looks now compared to the way it did when we were kids. Back in the day, you didn't even want to walk around and out there. So it's just a sketchy place with a bunch of heroin. Now it's like somewhat decent with a bunch of heroin.
It's like half-ass gentrified.
Yeah. We're everywhere. We're everywhere, dude. So I don't know. And then today, I don't know, man. There's something just eating at me, and I don't know what it is. I can't get it off. I just feel like there's something that's in my brain that's not working right, I guess. I don't know. Nothing really pissed off about this week. Nothing's interesting, man. Nothing's really getting me going. I don't know why. Have you ever had times like that where it's just like, it's a fucking blah week, which is crazy because the weather's been great. But it's just been like, fuck. What the fuck is this week? It's just a fucked up week. It's been a stupid week.
Yeah, I've had weeks like that before too.
I don't know. I guess what did piss me off was yesterday mowing my goddamn grass. That's a weekly occurrence. But yesterday was the worst because all the rain, we had this drought forever the beginning of a drought, I guess you could say, where it wasn't raining at all. Everything's dry. You're just mowing dust clouds. Well, then we get all this fucking rain in the past 2 weeks. I mowed my grass last week on Thursday, and it's like Wednesday. Here we go. Fucking grass is way too tall. It's clumping up in the mower. The mower's fucking stalling out because it's too much grass. And it's like, how the fuck did it? And it's not even that it's tall. It's so goddamn thick right now. So, I mean, I went out.
That is such a first world problem,
It is a first world problem. But I went out and I took that fucking mower, dude. And, sometimes if you just kind of jiggle them, it'll kind of get it. I didn't fucking jiggle it, dude. I took it on the pavement and just boom. And all this fucking grass clumped out of it. And I'm like, I said too, I'm the blame. I'm the fucking idiot in the situation. Because I said before I mowed it, I was like, maybe I should scrape this deck because I know it's going to clump. I could see how thick it is. And, I just didn't take my own advice.
Huh. Damn, bro.
And I came in, I was mad at everybody. I guess I was kind of like that even at the store. I had to go to the grocery store yesterday, and there's these fucking idiot toothless people walking around looking for Werther's. They're looking for the Werther's handies that, I eat these. I get the sugar-free ones. Well, she's walking around with the sugar-free ones, and I'm looking at the spot that she got the bag from, and I'm like, oh, where'd you get those? And she just totally ignores me. And her and her little crackhead buddy are fucking, well, where are the regular ones? We don't have any teeth. We need more sugar. Rotting our teeth out didn't do us enough. So I'm like, I want the fucking sugar-free ones. Well, I found where they were at, and they were standing right in front of them. I just reached in, no excuse me, and fucking
Really?
grabbed them. And I was like, thank you.
No.
Yeah, and then there's these two fucking old ladies. When I'm pulling into the store, they're at the crosswalk, and I thought, like, they know they're slow. You should yield at crosswalks, but if you move at a certain pace, you should just if it's one car, just let the car go. Just wave them and be like, it's going to take me a fucking minute to get around. So I sit there, dude. It's like a minute and a half waiting for these two old ladies. So somewhere in the span of time that it took for me to get out of my car, get a cart, and walk around the electronic side of the store and get over to the grocery, these motherfuckers found a power boost of speed because they're cutting me off at every goddamn aisle that I'm walking up to. Like I cut down like the cold section. They'd be there at the end of the aisle, cut me off. Oh, excuse me. I'd go whatever, and I go down the chips or something. Because I was an every aisle shopper yesterday. I didn't have any reason to be at every aisle, but every fucking aisle they were cutting into me. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, I had a Target on me yesterday, and it started at the grocery store and it finished up with the mower. And then I come in, I'm hot and sweaty, and I think my blood pressure is low because I think I need to come off that medication because I'm losing the weight and everything. And that's normally what happens. You start coming off some of the medications. Well, I'm all fucking lightheaded, hot and sweaty and pissed off, probably dehydrated. And Eileen has her fucking toys all over in front of my seat and shit. And I'm like, I just want to fucking sit down for a second before I go up and take a shower. Like, I need to get this lightheaded feeling gone, and I need to get a shower.
Right.
So I'm like, move all your fucking toys. Move your shit or I'm going to throw it away. And I was like, I'm sorry. I'm not going to throw it away, but move your shit for real. So yeah. I guess yesterday, maybe that's what blocked everything else out. Tuesday I was sick. Monday was invisible just because maybe I was half sick on Monday too. But maybe yesterday just took the cake. So I guess there was more that I was pissed off about than I didn't realize, like old people fucking in crosswalks. And how the fuck do they get the speed? Have you ever seen this?
Yeah, I have seen it. I think I know what you're talking about.
And it's not even necessarily old people. It's just people in general. It's like one aisle you're walking and they're like so fucking slow. And it's like, you just need to get around them. And they end up taking up half the fucking aisle. Like they're not on the sides of the aisle. They're in the middle with their cart turned sideways. And you're standing there, you're like, excuse me. And they act like they can't fucking hear you. I'll move people's carts, dude.
Do you know what the true nightmare is? The true nightmare is Dollar Tree. You know how they got them just little aisles, man. I mean, they got aisles packed full of stuff, but those aisles are so narrow. You're lucky if you can get your cart through, let alone you got somebody coming the other way. It's like, what do? It's like a Mexican standoff. Do you back up and let them go into another aisle, let them do their thing? Do they let you go? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the Dollar Trees, which I refuse to go in those. I hate fucking Dollar Trees with a passion. They smell like depression and mothballs.
Well, I love them, so sorry.
But like the fucking Burlington stores and shit like that, and like Ross, all those clothing outlets, they're the same way. Gabe's down in West Virginia and in Frederick, they're the same exact way. They got so much shit. It's like packed to the gills, and people just grab something and they put it somewhere else. So it's not only the shit that's supposed to be there, but it's the other merchandise that should be other places. And there's a million people in there and these tiny ass compacted aisles. It's like, come on, dude, get a fucking clue.
It's the same thing at your thrift stores, man. Your Salvation Army, that big one that they built on the dual highway, huge location, probably the biggest one in the area. Okay. Goddamn, if you don't get there 5 to 10 minutes open, because if not, you're gonna be shopping people rather than clothes and shit. There are so many fucking people in there, and again, it's the aisles. There's too much shit in too small of an aisle.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're trying to, which I guess you can applaud them, but really, like people like me that are just nitpicky assholes, you're going to piss them off and they're just going to walk out without buying anything. But I mean, I get maximizing floor space, but there comes a point where it's just too much.
Yeah,
Like, you don't, there's certain grocery
right.
stores that are that way too, like Save a Lot. Save a Lot's just got
You
terrible
still
aisle
there?
setups. Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I got a piss poor connection right now.
You good? Can you hear me? Your internet hates you.
All I see is your blank face. I can't hear you or see you.
I'm just sitting here smiling, like waiting for you to.
Wait, hold on. I can't tell if you stop there. I'm sitting here trying to figure out. I was like, did he just really just glitch up? I can't see shit. Instead, you're just standing stationary. Are
Boys
you
and
still
girls,
there or
yeah,
not? Are you
I'm
fucking?
here.
Are you fucking with me?
No, boys and girls, if you're from this area, avoid Antietam internet like the goddamn plague. If you
Yeah.
have another option, get that other option. Mine's not always the best, but I don't have the latency issues that Will does sometimes. Like it's just Antietam cable. It's garbage.
Fuck them.
Well, they will never be a sponsor. Even if they wanted to give us a sponsorship, I don't think I could do it.
That would be us selling out right there.
Yeah, I'd say if you give me like ultra unlimited, like wideband, high speed, like 50 gigabytes a second internet and like dedicated, like it's dedicated to one server. That's it. No one else is tapping into this source. Maybe then I'd do it, but but they'll tell you that they're going to give you that good internet and then they don't. You good?
Yeah.
It's
Anyway,
probably because all the kids are home from school right now.
you think?
Yeah, and it's not on a Friday. We're doing it on a Thursday, and they're just sucking up your bandwidth playing Warzone and shit.
What is school over right now? It's only
No,
it's May 18th. So
yeah,
why are all the kids off?
because it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Do they don't go to school the entire day?
That's right.
Did you go to public school or no?
I didn't know what time it was.
Yeah, until I said, "Hey, you want to walk out of class in the middle of fucking class?"
That was classic.
I seen her the other day at the store, and she's like, "I remember the good ones," and I was like, "I was a fucking horrible student."
What did she say? Hello, Dustin. How you doing?
Yeah, she loves Lacey too. I don't know. She's a cool lady. Like, dude, we could have gotten a lot more trouble than what we did.
Oh yeah, no.
And she just kind of brushed it off. Like,
She told her, or did she, I don't know if she told me or she told both of us. She was like, I want to see you guys graduate. I want to see you boys be successful. You boys are successful. I want to see it happen. You're not going to be successful if you walk out of my class, okay?
yeah, I think we were both there. I wasn't, dude, I was stoned out of my mind. I wasn't paying attention to her.
Yeah, and you know what? That woman was a Marine. For all you people out there, she was a Marine. Her husband was a Marine. I mean, she was hardcore. She was cool though.
She was cool as shit, dude. She was one of the coolest teachers we had, I think. She could be an asshole, but if you were cool to her, she wasn't going to be an asshole to you for like no reason. She tried to give more like advice than like just degrading you. And like some of the teachers, remember I'm gonna say his name because I don't give a fuck. I didn't like him. Mr. Gaiman. You remember him? Not Gaiman, the assistant principal we had for like
Yeah.
1 year. Mr. Gaiman. Fuck that dude. He was a fucking prick. And we got the perfect replacement with Mr. Knoll because he was awesome.
Who was awesome?
Mr. Knoll.
Mr. Knoll sucked, man. I can't believe you're saying Mr. Knoll was awesome. I hated that motherfucker, man.
He must have liked me because I mean, I was always in his office and he like never really gave me a hard time.
You ever know one of those people that is just like when you're in their presence, you know that they don't like you. Like you can just tell like they just hate you. You don't know why, but they just hate you.
That was Mr. Knoll for you.
This fucking connect is bullshit. Huh?
I said Mr. Knoll just hated you.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. It was just, I could just tell he hated me. I never did anything to him. I could just tell he just hated my guts. I don't know why.
Well, maybe he did. Maybe he thought you were a dickhead. But yeah, so that's it, I guess, on that end. We got some news this week, or
I swear to God, it's saying that you're the one with the low signal, dude. I got you on here with like 1 bar.
I just ran an internet speed test and I'm sitting at like 300 plus.
What am I at? Am I at 1 bar?
Whenever you cut out, it just goes red.
Oh, it just goes red.
Like it'll get shaky, it'll go yellow and then red. Like like an internet cell is what it looks like.
This is so goddamn unprofessional.
Well, folks, this is the ground floor. You guys understand that. We have some technical difficulties with internet, but we appreciate it when you stick through.
We sure do.
They need to hurry up with that satellite technology and like instant energy, instant internet, like where there's just fucking radio waves blasting through everywhere. Just we're getting, microwaved everywhere, turning us into psychos.
I wish fucking Elon Musk would do something about this shit so we could have a little bit better show.
Oh.
All right. If you can hear, if you're still there, hopefully you can hear me. But if you're still there, hopefully you can hear me. But I just heard myself.
They're good.
Okay. All right. So starting Sunday, which is pretty ironic because mail isn't even delivered on Sunday. The U.S. Postal Service is asking for these changes to your mailbox starting Sunday. And Dustin, if you want to follow along, this is at msn.com. You can just look up USPS is asking, and it should bring it up.
Are you a liberal, boy? You sure like these liberal websites, boy. Are you going to drink a Bud Light next?
Well, we got some Bud Light news for you too, buddy. So you just hold on to your drawers there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead with this one, and Dustin has it up on screen for everybody that's viewing. If you're just listening, then listen along. But be cautious if you're planning to replace your mailbox altogether. If your mailbox is too far gone, you might consider just getting a new one instead of trying to repair it. But the United States Postal Service is advising homeowners to be extra cautious when installing a new mailbox or replacing one. Hold on 1 second. What is this? Oh, shucks. Okay. All right. So in order, Motherfucker, this is not even the same article that I read 2 hours ago.
Yeah, because I got to go in and change it and make corrections.
Is that what it was? But it's not even the same article. It's just a completely different article. Like, it's the same headline, just they wrote the entire thing completely different. And this is why we need to start printing these out. All right, well, I can pretty much explain it. What they were saying was they will not deliver your mail to you if your mailbox is full, if your mailbox is falling off, if it's in need of repair, if there is no mailbox present, you're not going to get your mail. They will withhold your mail from you. And the United States Postal Service is saying that is going to start on Sunday. So that's the gist of the article. What are your comments on that? I mean, what do you think about the United Postal Service playing God with your mail because your mailbox isn't up to their standards? And their standards aren't even specific. You know, the original article I read, it was just 4 suggestions. It wasn't like, you know, it was just ridiculous. Dustin, help me out here, man.
It says
I feel like I'm spiraling down with this one.
I'm looking here and it says like if your mailbox is too far gone, consider getting a new one instead of trying to repair it. I don't know who the fuck repairs mailboxes, but I guess there's people out there that do it. They're advising homeowners to be extra cautious when installing a new one. They must use only Postal Service approved traditional, contemporary, or locking full limited service mailboxes. Like my whole thought on this, and I've said it before to people and they don't like it. It pisses a lot of people off, but I could really honestly give there's 0 fucks that I'd have left to give on pissing people off about this. Get rid of the goddamn Postal Service. I say that because in the year 2023, they've already lost $2.1 billion fucking dollars. They've lost $2.1 billion in 2023, but they're worried about, you know, residential people using a certain specific mailbox. Like that's your chief concern right now. And you're going to implement a change on a Sunday. I guess that's so you're prepared on Monday. It's like, you know, Randall there on the corner, his mailbox been looking pretty beat up for years. We've been telling him that he's got to fix it. And Monday he's not getting his mail. We're going to turn him away. And that sucks for people like me because I check my mail like once or twice, like maybe a week even. Sometimes I don't check it like even once a week. Because it's all bullshit mail anyway. Like everything that I need goes to my email. Like the only time I really consistently check my mail is whenever there's an Amazon package and it's small enough that I know that they put it in the mailbox. Or if I know like there's some kind of bill that I need to have, or like a credit card or something like that, you know, or I'm getting mailed a new debit card. That's the only time I check my mail anyway, but the rest of it's all fucking grocery store flyers, value pack coupons that suck ass. There's no real value even to the coupons. The coupons all suck. They used to be great, dude. It's like as the post office declined, so did the Valpak coupons.
Right. Yeah. Well, dude, get your shit together, man. I mean, start checking your mailbox and clear that shit out, or they're gonna withhold your mail. You're not gonna get anything then.
Well, good. They can fucking keep it, and I'll just get a fucking post office box or something.
All right. So you're saying you want to eliminate the U.S. Postal Service. So then, what's your solution then? I mean, what do you place then?
I mean, you just put it out to bid. You could have like an RFP, a request for proposal, for the shipping companies to enter in, and whoever provides the most competitive pricing with the, you know, have a threshold that they'd have to meet. So it can't be like me, I've got a delivery van and I can bid on, you know, postal service, but like DHL, Amazon, UPS, FedEx, who has the most competitive rates, the best customer service. Like it has to be a conglomerate of things. It can't just be like, oh, can you deliver the mail every day? You know, who has the infrastructure in the country to do it? But open it up for bid for a private sector company to take care of it. It'd probably get a lot better.
I'll tell you who should do it is Bezos. Bezos is a logistics mastermind, man. I mean, he did everything he said he was going to do and more. And that shit, I think he could do it. I think he could get it figured out.
Well, his logistics really just copied FedEx. I mean, where Bezos was like the top shop was allowing multiple sellers. Like, well, he kind of copied like eBay. Well, I don't know if he copied eBay. I don't know if they were out when he was out, but like it's like eBay slash FedEx slash like Walmart slash like Target. It's a little bit of everything slash Netflix slash YouTube slash Spotify. Like he dabbled in everything, but he was really good at like online shit, like hosting people's merchandise. And because I mean, how many? There's hundreds, thousands of Amazon sellers. And
Right.
that's where I think he capitalized. And because you remember, they used FedEx and the Postal Service for the longest time.
Yeah, yeah, they did until it was the whole thing with the election with Trump and the whole mail-in ballots and everything. And I think he saw a catastrophe coming, so he was like, all right, I got to do something so that I can stay in business. And then that's when he unrolled the 18 wheelers, the Amazon vans, because if you remember, it was right around that time you didn't see Amazon vans anywhere. Now you'd be fucked to go down the street 2 miles without seeing one.
You were starting to see them in 2019, very, very limited, but that it wasn't even the Postal Service, it was FedEx, because they had the Prime back when Prime actually meant something. And the guaranteed 2-day delivery,
Yeah.
FedEx couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle all the regular FedEx plus Amazon shipments. So they pretty much just, and I called it because it was like 2018, 2019, and we installed a warehouse, an Amazon warehouse at the old company I was at. And there was someone talking and they're like, yeah, they're going to come out with their own delivery service. And then the next day in the news, I seen that Amazon ended their contract with FedEx. And I looked at everybody, we were having a meeting, and I said, Amazon's going to do their own delivery service. Everybody looked at me like I had 3 eyes. And I'm like, I'm telling you, Amazon's going to have their own delivery service. They're going to stop relying on people because they're losing money, because you get like a refund or you get like some kind of credit whenever your shit wasn't delivered on time. And that's sure as shit, that's what they did. But yeah, starting like it started out in like bigger metropolitan areas. This area was one of the last, like our local area. But like Baltimore, they had them way before us. I remember the first time I seen the vans, I was like, what the fuck is that? It's a Prime van. Like I was still kind of blown away, even though I kind of predicted that was going to happen. It was a smart move on their end.
But look at him now. I mean, he's completely fine-tuned it to where you get packages on Easter Sunday. Getting a package on Sunday 5 years ago seemed crazy. Now it's normal, man. If it doesn't come on a Sunday or a Saturday, you're kind of like, man, that's weird.
Dude, I was getting Christmas deliveries up until like the day before Christmas Eve. Like they were literally dropping shit off Christmas Eve. I was like, this is amazing. Like it sucks, but I mean, the people that I don't know, you say everybody's got a problem with, oh, well, they have families too, and all that shit. But it's like, you know what? They know the job that they signed up for. I mean, it
Yeah.
does, but if they don't like it enough, like find something else to do. There's other companies to work for.
Yeah. When you sign up for Amazon, I mean, you got to know. Exactly. You got to know what you're signing up for. I mean, you'd be an idiot if you didn't know how it worked. I mean, and it'd be the same thing with, oh, I'm going to be an overnight manager at Sheets. Okay. Well, yeah, you're going to be working nights, and it's the same thing with them. Plus, they get compensated fair for working holidays, just like everybody else does.
Well, and they look at that like, oh, my Amazon driver had to piss in the back of his van. Well, I mean, doing the work I do, I've pissed in the back of a truck before in a water bottle, or but it's because you don't want to stop. You want to keep going. And I don't think they get piece rate. But then they blame Amazon for it. Well, it's not even Amazon. Amazon works like FedEx. FedEx has like their dedicated, they own like FedEx Express. When you've seen those are actual owned by FedEx. But like FedEx Ground, it's all subcontracted.
Yeah,
So
you're
it's
right.
people that own routes. And so, I mean, but they're around here, they seem to pay pretty well. I mean, I know a couple people that work for Amazon, and during like the prime days and then like the seasonal, dude, they make a fucking rack of money because I think they get paid, their overtime. Plus, I think there's bonuses and shit. They put them into all kinds of different drawings. Like Amazon does that for them. Dude, my nose is like itching like a motherfucker. You don't have any nose picking articles, do you? Jesus.
Not this week, no.
Ah, it just won't stop. But yeah, I think yeah, companies like let them bid on it and see who could do the best job, and just have like a 3 to 5 year contract, and it gets rebid every couple years because it keeps them competitive, and it would improve the service. Dude, postal people are fucking assholes. Half of them. There's a couple that are really cool, but some of them are just. You can tell they hate their job. The only reason they're doing it is because they're government union, and they can retire in like 20, 30 years.
Yep.
And that's what's ruined the post office is the pension plans and everything.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, you can get your full fucking retirement benefits and get paid like the same salary, like in their high ass salary. It's stupid altogether. I fucking hate the post office.
Well, that was a good one. Let's move on to some robot news. How's that sound?
Fucking robots.
All right. This one is from thestreet.com. Title of this article: Tech startup launches a 5'7", 155-pound robot man. A Canadian company announces a robot that it says can think, act, and complete tasks just like a person. And the robots keep coming. Earlier this year, Lowe's got into the robot act by deploying an outdoor security robot at several of its locations. The 5-foot, 400-pound egg-shaped devices were made by Nightscope, a Mountain View, California-based security tech company. Tesla CEO Elon Musk is looking to transform society with Optimus, a humanoid robot first shown in 2021. The billionaire wants to replace human labor with humanoid robots using the artificial intelligence software developed by Tesla for its cars.
Let's get a look at this. That's some like iRobot kind of shit, dude.
Pretty wild, isn't it?
It is.
The Tesla bot becomes less of a sideshow as impressive new footage of the robots emerge. Tesla gave an update on its humanoid robot program, which is known as Tesla Bot or Optimus, which we just said. New images of the prototypes were quite impressive, making the project look less like a sideshow and increasingly like a potentially real product. When Elon Musk first announced Tesla Bot, many laughed it off as a sideshow or a distraction to Tesla's more important mission to accelerate the advent of sustainable energy. The CEO hyped it up by describing how much value it would create by fixing the labor crisis. But like Tesla's autonomous driving effort, everyone can see the value of a humanoid robot. The problem is people having issues seeing Tesla making it a reality. So what do you think about Elon making these bots? I mean, come on, we kind of figured this. We kind of figured this was going to happen. Now it looks like it's coming to fruition. What do you think, Dustin?
Well, I mean, the dude's sitting here warning us about AI and how that's like detrimental, but meanwhile, he's creating a robot like that's going to be detrimental also. Like it's going to take jobs away. I mean, we talked about it a while back. Like, yeah, you can learn to adapt. Someone's got to program the robots, but there's going to come a time, especially with AI, when it merges with robotics, they're not going to fucking need us, dude. The robots will not need us. So unless we program some kind of fail safe to where they can't, go rogue and just start killing us, we're looking at Terminator.
All right, this is my problem with Elon Musk. And I agree with what you just said. But this is my problem with him, okay? He likes comedy. He likes trolling people. He likes dark, sarcastic humor, okay? One day he's telling us about AI and how it's a threat to humanity. The next day, he's in front of these Tesla bots and telling us how they're the new wave of the future. I mean, what gives, man? Come on.
Yeah, he's talking out of both sides of his mouth.
So which side do we listen to?
I mean, what he's doing is equally as dangerous as AI, because that's what I was saying. Like, what do you think is going to happen with the AI and the robots? They're going to merge it together, whether he does it or not. But he's going to do it too because it simplifies the process. He's an engineer.
But he's he's gonna be using the main thing that he tells us to worry about. I mean, even on Rogan, he's talking about AI is one of the scariest things in the future. However he talks or whatever.
Should we just place our trust in him? Maybe that's like he thinks he's the only one that can do this responsibly, but maybe he's an alien. Maybe he's like not lying whenever he does say that he's an alien. You've seen that before, like where he's tried telling people he's an alien.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Like, what if he is an alien? And what if he is like, what if it's like a Jesus type scenario? Like Jesus said that he was the Messiah for so long and no one believed him. They ended up killing him. What if Elon's an alien? He's tried to save us from ourselves and show us how to do things responsibly, and we just mock him and act like he's crazy.
Do you ever remember the kid in school that was always the smartest guy? All right. Always knew the answer to all the questions, always aced all the tests, never studied, never did homework, but he was just brilliant. Okay. Then you find out later on that this kid was just full of shit, man. He wasn't brilliant at all. He was just fucking making everybody think he was smart. And he left a whole pile of destruction behind him because everything we thought we could trust him to do or say or what his word was right, it wasn't right at all. It was just a bunch of bullshit. I think Elon's that guy.
Do you think he's a bullshit artist?
I don't know if he's a full bullshit artist, but I think he's like a big kid, man. That's too smart for his own good, and I just don't think he has all of his shit together.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. That's the problem with the technology in general to me is I don't think there's no human on the face of the planet that's responsible enough to have that much power. And even governments, we see how corrupt they are. I wouldn't trust a government with that technology. Like we shouldn't be fucking playing with it. That's my opinion, but we're gonna do like it's the nature of humans. I mean,
Right.
we created the atom bomb, something that is so devastating that can kill millions of people at one time. What's to stop us from doing this?
Well, I hope I'm wrong about it. I really do. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am.
I just hope that they have controls in it, like controls in place to control the AI or the robots. Like if they can find a way, and that's the thing, like you must work to have a house, you must work to have food. Like, are we coming out of that? And which way? Like maybe that's why it's so scary because we don't know how that's going to work because it's never been that way, and maybe it's the new dawn where people do like we're going to become like in Wally where we're just fat fucking sloths laying around all the time, or like you're free to do whatever your passion is, and maybe like there's still like room for that, but your basic needs are met. But that's what I always get back to is those at the top aren't going to give away their luxuries, and so how do you climb that ladder to get the luxuries? Is it socialism where everybody's the same? I mean, that's
all shit we're still trying to all figure out. What is the right way? What is the smartest direction to go? And I don't think anybody knows. And I definitely don't think he knows either. But yeah, I agree with what you said.
I don't think we've known for thousands of years, and I don't think we're going to figure it out anytime soon. Maybe the AI knows, and maybe they'll fix all our problems for us, and they'll take the control from the leaders that have an unfair advantage, and the rich that have the unfair advantage that wouldn't go anywhere. I don't know. Maybe they'll figure it out. Let's just leave it up to AI, I guess.
Yeah, well, I don't have this article, but I heard it on the radio yesterday that this teacher, I think it was in Prince George's County, but I could be wrong. This teacher took all of her students' essays and ran it through a chat GPT or a bot or whatever the hell they're using now, and was asking, were you the one that wrote this? Was a chat bot wrote this? And it was like 60% of her class wrote their exam through a chat GPT, and some of them were so stupid that they just copy and pasted it, and then and inside of it added inserts like, I do not have the answer for this question, or I do not have a statement present at this time. They left it in the essay. The teacher saw it, and it just started a bunch of shit, man. I got to try to find that article.
Yeah. Have you ever played around with the chat GPT?
No, I haven't, man. Is it cool?
Yeah, it's cool shit. Like I came pretty much like your opening and shit. Like I was like, I'll use it for like YouTube and shit. Like, give me 25 keywords to use in YouTube that are trending, and it'll give me a list. Or, what are good topics to talk about on a podcast? It'll give me a list. How do you do this? Write an opening statement for a podcast, and it'll give me like, and then you can go in and now make it about, sports. Now focus on football, but still include some of the other sports, and it'll fucking like keep tailoring it for you. It's wild.
Do you have to pay for it?
Not right now. It's in beta, so it's like a test. The servers get kind of overrun or overloaded sometimes, so you can't get on. Like too many people are trying to use it. But yeah, I mean it's free right now to use.
Oh, that's cool, dude. I gotta check that out.
Some of like the AI video and the AI pictures you got to pay for, or you'll get like a certain amount per day that you can make. And the ones that give you the free ones aren't really the best anyway. But the ones that you can pay for, like some of the shit that's on like TikTok or Instagram, dude, the AI is awesome. Like the renderings are like this. Imagine video games. And then like we just came out with Unreal Engine 5, or that's coming out soon. But I mean, imagine in the next couple of years, like what it's gonna be like real life.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty neat. I think it's pretty cool.
That's a cool use for robots, dude. Like set up an arena with robots and like Call of Duty or something like that, like where you're actually controlling a physical robot. So you don't respawn. Like when you die, it's the closest to death you can get playing a game.
Oh, that's wild, man.
Wouldn't that tell me that would like kind of like the movie Gamer or whatever that had Gerard Butler in it, but just using
Player One.
robots. Yeah, Ready Player One. That's all like simulated reality. But yeah, it's like something like that, dude. We're heading that way. It's gonna be
Was
fun.
that no, that wasn't Ready Player One. You might be right. It was Gamer, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Gamer was like
Okay,
he
you're
was
right.
controlling. Like they put a chip in criminals' necks and shit, and
That's
it
right.
allowed them to be controlled. Ready Player One was all like simulated, like simulations.
Yeah, you're right, man. I got them mixed up.
I read the book while I listened to it on audio for Ready Player One before I watched the movie. The book's awesome too. It's more about like old school gaming, like Ataris. You probably like the book.
I'll have to check it out, man. Sounds cool.
It's decent.
But we're done with the robot news for this week. I thought that was pretty interesting, and it even kind of triggered you too. So I'd say that's a good deal.
Goddamn robots, dude.
But I'm gonna trigger you again, man. You ready for some Bud Light news?
Yeah, I guess.
Take this how you will, but this is from the New York Post. This title is from May 17th. Bud Light mocked for 20 rebate on their 1998 case of beer, $19.98, and they're going to give you a $20 rebate. So they're basically giving it away. All right. A Bud Light seller apparently stuck with too many cases of the unsold brew in the wake of the company's Dylan Mulvaney fiasco, is offering $20 rebates on your purchase of a $19.98 case of beer. A photo posted to social media shows stacks of 24 can cases of Bud Light with a promo taped to them touting a full rebate from the unidentified beer vendor. These things can't be going great if they're basically giving away. A Twitter user named Ed Lattimore wrote, "You're making 2 cents profit per case when you buy Bud Light," another Twitter user observed. "And there's still plenty on the shelf. They can't even give people money to take it off their hands," says another Twitter user. Sales of Bud Light, the nation's perennial top-selling beer, have tanked following calls for a boycott of the Anheuser-Busch brand in the wake of its controversial partnership with the transgender influencer on April 1st.
Well, it's not Bud Light doing the rebate then, though, right? It's just that's a seller, an authorized seller. So it's like I guess a bottler or something. I don't know who that would be, but so it's not like an actual legit Bud Light thing. They're not doing it company wide.
No, it's just they just state it's a Bud Light seller.
Well, I hope he's getting recouped from Bud Light. He's probably got like a handshake deal worked out with his distributor or something, where it's like, dude, this shit's not selling. You need to do something. Like, I need a refund, and he's just using the refund to use that rebate for his customers, just to pretty much take the beer for free. But he's getting compensated. Like, that sucks, dude. Like, fucking Bud Light, dude. They should have known. They should have known. Like, I don't know. Like I said, every week since we've talked about it, I don't care either way. but like you attacked your base. Like you should have known that it wasn't going to go over well with like 99% of your customers.
Imagine that shit. You walk into the liquor store and grab everything you need, and you're like, "Oh shit, cool! A free case, free 24 pack of beer. Ah, okay, cool." I mean, in what age of history are we giving away beer? It's just insane.
I'd take it. I'd take the deal. You know, I would. Should I take like 3 or 4 of them? You give me all the beer I'd need for next weekend. I'd be like,
Well,
what's, is there a limit? Is there a limit on this? I'm like 6, 24. I'd be doing math, dude. How many beers can I drink a day versus how many I need? And you're making 2 cents on the deal too.
I know, right? Insane.
Just give me 124 packs. I'll make $2 on it and I'll drink for the rest of my month.
Fucking insane, man. I can't believe it's gotten that bad.
It's crazy. Yeah. What you said it last week. You know, their numbers are down, their sales, their pours from taps at bars are down. They're just, this shit fucked them over royally.
Big mistake. Big mistake.
Like I said, they should have known. They should have known. I don't know how you didn't realize that going into this. Do you think, I think Travis Tritt probably hurt him the most.
Dude, you couldn't have said it better. I think it was last week when you said it. It's like, know your fucking customers, man. Know who your clientele are. I mean, I understand trying to reach a different clientele, but if these are the people that you're making most of your money from, why don't we work on trying to cater to them a little bit more?
Well, that's what I said. Like, yeah, it was last week. And that's what I was saying. Like, they could have went about it differently and still did the same thing. Like when they had the Pride festivals and targeted markets where they have the festivals, like, and I'm sure they do that, but I mean, so like San Francisco, Seattle, Washington, DC, when you do like the gay pride festivals and shit, release the limited can in those markets. Or just release it across the country. And I mean, most people are going to be more understanding that you're doing it like during gay pride or whatever. And that's, you know, but they just out of the blue to be like, this is our stance and we stand with the trans community, which I've always said, I don't care what you do with your wiener or your vagina. If you want to sew it up or get it chopped off, I don't care. That's for you to live with. But, you know, when Kelly was on last week, I agree with his point too. Like, if you have a dick and balls, don't be trying to go in the female's bathroom. I don't care whether you dress like a girl or not. You know, if you get the surgery, you get corrected. And I mean, even if you have a wiener, if you want to be called a she, I'll call you a she. I don't care. I'll call you a fucking goat. I'll call you whatever you want me to call you. I'm not like that hard to get along with. I don't see it being like, I do see it more of like being a mental disorder, but like if you don't feel comfortable, and whether it's like, I'm not saying that to take a jab at them, but it is a mental issue. If you don't feel like who you should feel like in your own skin, like there's something wrong with your brain, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not saying like they're crazy. I'm just saying like there's something in their chemistry, their body chemistry, somewhere along the line, something's broken in their brain.
I wish that we could get some sort of opinion or some sort of statement from, you know, the original transgender of our generation, your and mine's generation. I wish we could get him to make a statement. Do you know who I'm referring to, by the way?
No.
Oh, okay. I figured it was obvious. Dennis Rodman.
Get out of here. He's not. That dude's just wild.
That motherfucker. He was the first. He was the original transgender of our generation, the millennials generation. It was Dennis Rodman. I want to know what he thinks.
Dude, remember when we used to like, and we talked about, you know, the death of Jerry Springer a couple weeks ago. Remember when it like, and I'm not saying it was okay, but it was funny. But remember they used to mock it, like it used to be like a funny thing, and like it is a true identifier of, you know, serial killers, serial rapists, things like people that commit serial crimes, cross-dressing, transgenderism, gender dysmorphia, gender dysphoria, whatever they call it. It's a key indicator on someone that has murderous tendencies. And they took it off the FBI's registry in 2019 as an indicator, even though historically it is Jeffrey Dahmer, all these, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, we're just going to ignore that. It's like whenever there's a school shooter and he's a gay Mexican kid, we're not going to talk about it then. But if it's like a white kid that was bullied, we're going to beat the shit out of the story and say that he's a white nationalist and he was a fucking, Green Party liberal. But we're going to say he was an ultra right nationalist when he was one of the most left leaning. It's got to fit the narrative, of what they're trying to shape in the country.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's
That's
like
what it's really
Bud
all
Light
about.
tried hopping on the train and, instead of hopping on, they got fucking hit by it.
Yeah, instead of hopping on, the train derailed. Speaking of train derailments, I don't have the article, but did you hear that Norfolk Southern, another train derailed 2 days ago, I think?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Up in, I want to say it was Maine, Massachusetts. I swear it was somewhere in New England. But yeah, the train derailed, but they didn't have any hazardous material on it. It was actually just, I think it was just salt and something else. Are you looking it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not joking either, man. It's not fake news. It really did happen.
Union Pacific, Ontario, Newcastle. I don't know where the fuck, the Springfield.
It was a Norfolk Southern.
Hold on, folks. I'm trying to find this. May 11th, 2000, Newcastle, Pennsylvania. 9 rail cars from a Norfolk Southern freight train derailed in Pennsylvania with no hazardous chemicals on board and no reported injuries.
Dude, what is up with these train derailments, man? This is the craziest thing ever. When on earth have you heard of this many trains derailing in America?
And as much as I hate to share an article from them, it's from the NPR. Fucking state propaganda. So we're not going to even get close to the true scoop on it, but 50 miles northwest of Pittsburgh. I don't know, dude. Like, I don't know. It's just because they're cutting corners. I deal with a client from another large rail company, and you don't hear about their trains derailing. And he said it's because of the standard that they have, like Norfolk Southern. They just don't pay attention to their shit. Their lines are all beat up. Their trains are old and, lacking safety. It's just, I don't know. And that's the whole thing, the whole of no consequence. Like, do you really believe that there was no hazardous materials? Like at this point in the game, do you think they'd really tell you if there was?
Yeah, probably not.
Because of the outcry from the one in Ohio. Like they're not going to go out and just be like, oh yeah, they're just going to be like, nothing to see here, move along. Because the fucking rail companies are all subsidized by the US government anyway.
Yeah, well, there you go. All right. Well, we did the Bud Light. We did the robot news. This is another. I don't want to say this is funny. It's really not funny, but it's a interesting article. It's a interesting read. Yahoo.com, not always the most credible source, but here's what they got for us today. A bear spotted with waders in mouth may have eaten angler. That's the title. Excuse me. That's the title of the article here. Police in Hokkaido, Japan, are searching for any sign of a missing angler who they believe may have been eaten by a bear after a human head was found near the lake where he was fishing. According to a Japanese news agency, Kyoto News, 54-year-old Tashiro Nishikawa was last was last seen setting out on a fishing expedition on Lake Shimarana, an artificial lake in a natural park on Sunday. He was unaccompanied when a local boat operator dropped him off. One of the operator's employees raised the alarm later that day after spotting a bear with a pair of waders dangling from his mouth. The employee tried to call Nishikawa, but the angler didn't answer. Local police began hunting for the bear, and according to a town official, one animal was killed on Monday. However, the team also discovered a human head during their search. Work is currently underway to determine whether it belongs to Nishikawa. And a little bit more, the bears in Hokkaido is home to the Usiri brown bear, which is a slightly smaller cousin to the grizzly found in North America, but much larger than the Japanese black bear found on the mainland. They usually are wary of humans, but Hokkaido police say sightings are on the rise, with a 339 reports so far this year, 40 more than the same period in 2022.
Fucking bears, dude.
So don't fuck with those Japanese grizzlies, man, because they will fuck you up.
I mean, we should know that. You don't fuck with a grizzly either. I mean, look at that thing. It's huge. See, like that's a real fucking bear, dude. That's a real bear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not none of that panda shit. You know what I'm saying?
No, for those who are listening and not watching, this is and when I say grizzly, I mean as a descriptive term. This is a grizzly looking fucking bear. He's big. I mean big, brown, furry looking son of a bitch. I would not fuck with this thing, man.
Well, it looks like here that it won't let me like sharpen the image up because I wanted to show the different sizes of bears, but you know, Google just wants to upload low res images, but whatever. But yeah, so that's a real bear, dude. That's not none of that panda shit. That's a bear that I'd be afraid of. But that all goes down like more sightings on the horizon, bear sightings. My wife told me that yesterday, well, I don't think it was yesterday, but a couple days ago, there was a bear on Carroll Creek right by her job.
Oh, I believe it, man. There's been a lot of bears in Frederick County, dude. They're making a huge remigration back to the area. So are bald eagles, man. Bald eagles are making a big comeback too.
Well, bald eagles don't worry me quite as much as a bear, and that's the bear resurgence, the population increase for bears is because of conservation. Like I guess when we came here, the French fur traders and all that, they killed the shit out of them. Beavers, bear. We used to, I believe I read an article that we used to have like elk or moose or something like that. We had larger species of venison than just deer in this area even, but they were just all killed off and driven westward. But I mean, there's got to be some amount, because what's going to kill a bear? That's what I was telling my wife. Like, there's no predator. There's no natural predator for a bear. Like, we don't have wolves in the state. What's a coyote going to do something about it? No, they're like tiny. What is a fox going to kill it? No. Like, we
Yeah,
need to open up. If the bear sightings continue, we're going to have to open at least a limited stamp hunting season for people to hunt bear, because you don't just want those fucking massive animals rooting through your trash cans
and that's what we'll do. I mean, in areas of Maryland, like Mountain Maryland or Western Maryland, Garrett County, Allegheny County, they have a bear season. In fact, they have a couple bear seasons. They come in and out of the year. So it'll be the same thing here. We'll have a bear hunting season, just like you said, and you can get a tag. The thing is, the bears around here are super skittish. Like, they don't like people at all, naturally. Number two, uh they're not omnivore. I mean, they're herbivores. They're not carnivores, man. They don't eat fish. They don't eat anything like that. Their main food around here is acorns. Did you know that?
no, it didn't. So they
No,
don't eat any meat at all. Like, they don't find a groundhog and pick that bitch up and smash it like my dog did.
they don't do that, man. They'll go through your trash. If you got meat and stuff in there, they'll eat that, but it's not part of their natural diet. Their natural diet would be acorns, walnuts, berries, and other things. I don't know everything they eat, but they are not carnivores, not the ones in this area.
So they're kind of just like a overgrown panda, or not panda, but overgrown raccoon, like a trash panda.
Yeah, they're overgrown trash pandas. I
So just
love that, trash pandas.
it's awesome. They're little fucking trash bandits, dude. Trash pandas. The raccoons, they look like pandas, and they just rummage. So that's what the bear do here. But I mean, if you get close, that's not saying it might not eat your face, but it's gonna fuck you up if you get close to its cubs and shit.
Yeah,
So we're
yeah.
not saying, we're not endorsing approaching bears because you think they're cute. Watching We Bear Bears and a bear in the wild is not the same thing. Winnie the Pooh doesn't like honey, and he's not gonna fucking be nice if you creep up on him.
And here's another fun fact, okay? The bears in this area only reach a maximum size of, like, God, it's not much at all. I can't give you an exact weight. And the reason that is because there's not enough forage around here for them to feed off of and actually get big. So you're rarely going to see an overgrown bear in this area, mainly because there's not enough to feed them. There's not enough to make them big. So most of the time, the bear you'll see around here might be the size of a large dog. Really, it's really what they get. Now they're thicker than a dog, but they don't get much bigger than a big dog.
I'm just gonna take my dog whenever I go out in the woods anymore, because I mean his breeds are bear dogs. They're mountain dogs from Korea and Japan. He's a mixed breed.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, dude, I'm so proud of him for killing that goddamn groundhog. Like, if I get out, I know he'd protect me from a bear.
When I was really young, we're probably saying 6, 7 years old, we were hiking up in the Adirondack Mountains in upstate New York, and we had a little Yorkie. I mean, little Yorkie, right? And she was a mountain dog. She would go hiking. That dog climbed 4,000-foot peaks multiple times. So we're heading up this trail, right? My mom's like, stop. I look up. There's a fucking bear coming down the trail that we're going. It wasn't a grizzly bear. It was a black bear. This bear is coming down the same way we're going up, and we're thinking, oh, fuck. This Yorkie pops up out of nowhere. Our dog starts barking at the top of her lungs, chases that bear down the fucking mountain, man. I mean, that bear ran off like a scared little bitch.
That's some mouthy dogs, dude. They're like, that's where they always say, the bark's bigger than the bite. Like,
and that made me think of your dog in that story, because this little dog did not back down from this bear. I mean, this dog went alpha right away. It was so funny, man.
maybe he would bark because he didn't like the cable, like the internet installers. Like, he went ape shit. I've never heard him bark the way he did when they were here. But I don't know. I feel like he'd be standoffish and really quiet. His ears would go up, his tail would go down. I'd feel like he'd almost like antagonize a fight just to see if he could win. He's just I don't know, dude. He's a monster of a dog. 80, 90 pounds, but he doesn't look it. Like, I've sent you pictures of him. He doesn't look like he's a huge dog, but he's tall and he's thick. He's a fucking tank, dude. He doesn't realize how big he is sometimes. Like, he'll try jumping up on your lap and shit. It's like, dude, get the fuck off of me. But he's a killer.
Dude's got that alpha. He's alpha.
Well, he doesn't have nuts, so he's not, but he's just a bum half the time. He lays around and sleeps all day.
Motherfucker's alpha.
He thinks he's going to eat your face.
Please don't let your puppy eat my face. All right, let's go to some strippers, man. Here at UBEC Studios, if you've listened from episode 1, which some of you have, believe it or not, I know it's hard to believe. Those that have listened from episode 1 and episode 2 know that here at UBEC Studios, we tip strippers. We make sure we tip strippers. It's a priority in this camp. But pretty soon, you might not have to worry about tipping them too much. Okay? So the Washington Post. Oh, man. Dustin, bring this fucking article up. Do me a favor. Read this article. They're making me fucking start a goddamn subscription and everything. Can you do this one for me, please?
Yeah, let me see. Okay, so Washington Post. I'm going to go ahead and share the article while I read it. Dancers at a bar in Los Angeles are poised to become the only organized group of strippers in the United States after their employer agreed to recognize their union, marking the culmination of a 15-month effort that is a victory for long marginalized adult entertainment workers across the nation. The dancers who perform at the Star Golden Topless Dive Bar in North Hollywood will be represented by the Actors Equity Association, whose membership of 51,000 includes employees on Broadway and at Walt Disney World. They held an election to unionize last year, but official results were delayed after the bar's owner objected to the vote and took legal action. The National Labor Relations Board is expected to officially tally votes this week, organizers said Tuesday. The reformers said unionization would allow them to advocate for better protections against possible sexual harassment and wage theft. Strippers who want to unionize their workplaces and have a voice in the way their clubs are run now have a clear path forward. Lilith, a star garden dancer who was only identified by one name. Well, that's how they're all fucking identified.
What's her name? Lilith?
Yeah, Lilith. I mean, if you get to a strip club and they tell you their first and last name, run, because they're looking for a sugar daddy or a baby daddy. They're looking for someone to, pay for their kids' way through school and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, they want you to go home and look them up on Facebook if you don't already have their contact information.
I hate unions in all forms and fashions. Like, it gives them a say in the way their club is run. Like, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. If you want to say in the way your club's run, open your own fucking club.
Oh, amen.
So if there's any stripper unions around here that go up and join whichever union that is, Actors Equity, don't be looking for tips from me. You're as good as a robot. We demand health insurance.
So are you trying to say that we don't tip strippers now?
We don't tip union strippers. We only tip scabs.
We don't tip Teamsters unionized strippers anymore. It's over.
Would you tip a delivery driver that was part of a union? Like the Pizza Guild of America, unionizes Papa John's, and whoever eats that pizza is stupid anyway, but let's just say they unionize Papa John's. You order you a large Papa John's pizza, which price used to be $10.99, but now because they're unionized, they have to increase the price to $19.99. And their driver brings you your pizza. You're going to tip him for bringing you your pizza, even though he's making $31.92 an hour?
Shoo, that's a tough one there. I don't know if I would or not. I probably wouldn't. If I knew he was making that, nah, I wouldn't tip him. I hate to say that because I'm a big advocate of tipping, and we've talked about this before, but no, I wouldn't. Not if he's making that.
It becomes tipping a robot. That's
Yeah.
my stance on it. Like, you're tipping something that's like, you don't need to be tipped at this point,
Right. Exactly. And I agree with you, dude.
Like, you want to have equal pay, but because maybe that's where it started at, like equal pay for stripper. Well, it said to protect against wage theft. So I guess, when you turn your tips in, your club owner's not giving you enough money. But what about, like, you think that you should make, here's Lilith, and she thinks that she should make the same amount of money that Star does, but Star has, double D boobs and Iggy Azalea's ass, and she's sitting over here as flat as a washboard, but she wants the same tips that Star gets. Like, how that's not fair. But that's how unions work. It's like you get equal pay for equal work, but it's like you don't have equal assets.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I guess it'll be interesting to see how it shapes up. We're gonna have to keep tabs on this story because I don't want it to ruin the community of strippers.
Yeah, and that's another thing, guys. With these news segments, we actually do work pretty hard to find follow-ups to some of these important articles that we go over. And if you listen enough in the episodes past, we actually have found quite a few follow-ups. So if this is something you're interested in, or anything that we've discussed in this episode you're interested in, leave us a comment and we'll try to get more information on that story.
Yeah, I think we should at least try to follow up, because it's not through its final say, I guess, yet. Like, they still have to go through the voting process for the actual union. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, so I do have one more. It's not a robot news. This will be the last article. It's an AI news, but we ought to probably set the record straight for those of you who are wondering. We do not use Chat GPT or any bots to write anything in this article or anything in this show, which you can probably tell with how much I fuck up everything. So don't get it twisted. This is completely organic. This is our shit. This isn't any robot, right?
Yeah, we're not reading Chat GPT line by lines. We don't have a teleprompter up.
No, and these articles are ones that we find on our own too. I mean, we're not getting nothing's finding these articles for us. We find the articles that we find interesting. And like I said, if you find them interesting too, let us know and we'll go over it. Last one of the day, and I think you're going to like this one. This is from interestingengineering.com. iPhone killer. New AI wearable Humane hopes to make smartphones obsolete. And Humane is the name of this uh, new technology here. A TED Talk that previews a new artificial intelligence powered wearable called Humane has just been released. Developed by former employees of Apple, the new piece of technology is widely being advertised as something that could make smartphones like the iPhone more or less redundant. Humane aims to displace cell phone screens with a voice activated assistant that projects everything from calls to texts onto the user's hands. And Dustin's got the article up for those of you watching, and you can see this hologram looking thing on this guy's palm, which I guess is supposed to imitate a phone screen. The projector promises to solve several.
Sorry, I clicked that.
Nah, it's all good. The projector promises to solve several issues with modern technology, including the need to constantly check cell phones, the physical limitation of touchscreens, and limited accessibility. If this sounds intriguing, then check out the TED Talk below, which Dustin accidentally played earlier. If we get this right, AI will unlock a world of possibility. Today, I want to share what we think is a solution, and it's the first time we're doing it openly. It's a new kind of wearable device and a platform that's built entirely from the ground up from artificial intelligence, and it's completely standalone. You don't need a smartphone or any other device to pair with it. With Humane, users can experience a more seamless technology integration into their life by swapping out cell phones and wearable gadgets. This instrument could open up new potential for language translation and individualized help in addition to simplifying communication. Dustin, what are your thoughts?
I seen something that was similar to that, but it wasn't like, I don't know, like it just shows it on your hand or like wherever. It just, I don't know. It's people are gonna try to do it, and this is it. It's like it's a headset. It looks like AR or like a simulation kind of thing. The headset's gonna start around $3,000. But they're saying this is it's gonna replace the iPhone, like in general. Apple Reality Pro, I think is what it's called.
This is only going to work if they can somehow eliminate planned obsolescence. Do you know what I mean? Like Apple did when they basically put a timer on your phone to where after you've had this device after X amount of years, now it won't update. Now it won't let you log into your apps. Now the battery sucks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they did that. They got caught for that, like the battery and shit. So, but this is like, here's a picture of what I was kind of talking about. This is actually like, I think it's just going to start out as like just wearable, like Google glasses, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's going to have like AR, like augmented reality also. So where you could see what's in front of you, but like in your lens, like you're going to see the name of the store, and we're going to get good enough with this technology where it's going to be like, oh, this is like, it's going to pull up your name. Like I'm going to be looking at you and it's going to be like Will, and like maybe pull up like your social profiles and all that shit. So, I mean, it's just another step in that direction though. Like, I don't know. I don't really see the need for something like, I don't find having a phone restrictive, like they're saying in the article. It's just like, I don't think it's that cool to be able to pull up something, and it's going to be something you're going to have to wear anyway. Where's the shit going to come from? Like, where's the data and the image going to come from? It's got to be like some kind of projector or something.
Hopefully they do something crazy to where, like, if you're talking to a known sex offender or something, like when you're wearing those glasses and like, that guy that's real creepy, then the glasses go on him and it's like sex offender, second degree assault, then battery. And you're just like, fuck, I knew it.
There should be an app for that. Like, but they're not going to do it like, and they'll probably even find a way to block it. Like, yeah, they have the sex offender registry, But like I know states like Florida and I think even Maryland might have wanted to do it at one point, but like posting outside of their home that are like, alerting people that have children that live in the vicinity of them. I think they should, but there's always protection groups and it's like you're violating their civil liberties and all this. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I agree with that to a certain extent because there are like some people that, you're 18 and you're with a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old, you're still a kid. You're
But
both still kids or like two kids. Like if you're a boy and you're dating your girlfriend, you're both underage and you send your girlfriend a dick pic, you can get charged with a hate crime or a sex crime for that at like 16 years old. What in the shit? You there?
yeah,
Okay, but yeah, you get charged with a sex crime or whatever. It's saying my internet connection's unstable now. And now it's saying I'm fine.
yeah, but wouldn't you agree if you've been charged and found guilty of a sexual crime against children, you've given up that right of privacy and civil rights and all that shit. You've become the lowest form of humanity, the lowest form of society. Guess what? You did that. You gave up your right to be a normal person. So we're going to put something on your front lawn so that all these normal people out here know that you're a fucking deviant. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that.
I don't either, but I mean, it's down to they're trying to normalize, like, it's just, and that maybe that's part of the uproar about even like the trans community, like the Bud Light, Dylan Mulvaney, all that. They're trying to normalize like sexual deviancy, like of a form that we've not seen before, like not normalized. It's not like, you've got a kink or a fetish. It's like age play.
Yeah.
Like you want to pretend to be a baby and wear diapers and like have your mommy touch your wiener. Like there's something sick about that. Like, but they're trying to even normalize that. Or like I've seen articles where it's like, uh, you know, Billy Bob is attracted to 13-year-old girls, and like they have a whole article like explaining why, and it's like they're on his side about it. It's like,
Dude,
no, that's not normal.
are you familiar with Larry O'Connor? He's a talk show host for what is it, WMAL? It's a conservative radio station. Have you heard? He's kind of famous. Have you heard of him?
I've heard of him. I don't think I've heard him, but I've heard of him.
Okay, Larry O'Connor made a statement a few years ago when he was doing the evening segment. He's the morning show now. He's top dog at that radio station. But anyway, the statement he made, it was when they came out and they said that there's 45 different genders. Larry O'Connor said, there's not 45 different genders. There's two genders and 43 people, 43 different types of mental illness.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I will defend on this show. Like I'm not trying to be like anti-trans, anti-gay, and anti of that, but like they're two goddamn genders. Let's be real here. Like we're not playing make believe land. And it's like that's what I've always said. Like the people that are like gender non-binary, it's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Like you're on a day-to-day basis, you don't know whether you feel like a man, a woman, or something in between. Like there is no in between. Let's get that straight. Or I'm asexual or whatever. Like what? Like you can't make up your name, your mind. Like gender non-binary. What the fuck is that? Like no, there's two genders. You have to pick a side. Like which one do you want?
How did we go from this new cell phone technology to getting on this conversation?
Sex offenders, I guess, and then
Yeah.
but that's it. It's an illness, isn't it? And the majority of sex offenders, they've probably got some of these things, these gender dysphorias, all this shit.
Oh,
So
absolutely. I think so too.
I don't know. It's just wild, but yeah, I don't know. The Apple thing, like it's an offshoot. So good luck. I mean, it might work for Google and Android products, but good luck getting Apple to sign them. Apple's just going to copy your tech, and I mean they're the richest company in the world. They're going to do their own thing. It's going to be better than what that was.
Yeah, they're gonna fuck over the little guy that came up with it. They're gonna make it better and do what Apple always does.
Because see, that's what I thought you were talking about was like their new Apple VR AR shit that I seen. I was like, oh, it looks cool as shit. But dude, we're gonna be robots walking around with like it's gonna be like Ready Player One with robots and
Yeah.
AI.
This has been a hell of a robot episode, hasn't it? And an AI and tech episode.
Yeah, yeah. But that's the topic that we're on a good bit. I mean, we talk about that more than just about anything, I think, anyway. It's the consistent news article.
Right. Yeah. It's somehow it pops up. I don't know how, but it does.
That and I don't know. We don't really get into UFOs much, which is weird because there's sightings everywhere, but
Yeah, I'm just on the fence about the whole UFO thing. I'm starting to think anymore it's either us or other governments. I don't know if I dig the whole alien shit, man. The more and more I research it, the more and more I see about it, I'm just like, you know.
I don't think they're like letting us see them. I think we're being observed by something, but I don't know. I don't know. Like, and like that's the whole thing. Like, even watching, like, I love Ancient Aliens, but it's like, how did they come up with this idea? How did they have a like it's a figurine and it looks like a plane or something. It's like, how did they come up with this? And it's like maybe they looked at a bird and were like, what if that bird looked different and was like made out of this metal jewelry? It's like, how did they come up with monsters? Like, how do we do it? How do we come up with like Jeepers Creepers? You know, it's called fucking imagination. We've always had an imagination.
Yeah, do you ever look at old medieval maps, like real old medieval maps? And it's like all of them, and I watched a show about this on YouTube. It was like all of them in this certain part of the ocean have this like sea monster thing, like picture. You know what I'm talking about. I see you shaking your head. They
Yeah.
have this sea monster thing, and it was like thousands of years each map had this sea monster on it, and you can fact check me out there if you're listening or watching. I'm not bullshitting you. And I'm always like, man, I wonder what the fuck that really was. Was it really a sea monster, or was it something that back then they just thought was a sea monster, didn't really quite know what it was?
Yeah. Or like, shit, hold on. I'm gonna pull one up. I wish it was of like Africa or something because that would like right here.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's that little sea snake thing. It's on all the old medieval maps, like even ones that aren't like Anglo-Saxon maps. They're on all kinds of different maps. Yeah, there you go, man. Yup.
It's like a pig alligator.
That's one of them. But usually it's like the dragon snake looking thing.
And this one looks like maybe it's from like China or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, my whole explanation of that is they like to blame shit on the gods and they like to blame shit on things they couldn't understand. So is that just a dangerous patch of sea? It's like the Bermuda Triangle where it's very active weather-wise, and or the Cape of Good Hope around Africa.
Yeah.
The bottom part of Africa. It's notorious for ships being lost in that area. But is that how they explained it? It was a monster that got them? It was Thor that made the lightning and the thunder.
Yeah, but what if back then there was actually shit like that, and we just don't see it now because it doesn't exist in our world, but back then there was stuff like that. And you know what? In the ocean, and once again, something we've talked about in the episodes past, in the ocean, we don't know what the fuck's down there. We don't know, have no idea what's down there. So there could be a skeleton from a monster that died thousands of years ago. We're not going to know where it's at 'cause it's in the bottom of the ocean. We can't go to the bottom of the ocean. The last frontier is not space. The last frontier is the bottom of the ocean. We haven't been yet.
So you mean to tell me that you're sitting here questioning aliens? You're sitting here, you question Bigfoot all the goddamn time. You like have this hard on for like hating on Bigfoot. I think you hate Bigfoot as much as I hate pandas. So you got all this, and you probably don't believe in the chupacabra. You don't even know what the snallygaster is. The Jersey Devil, you probably laugh at that. But you're sitting here telling me that there's a huge sea monster out there, or there was way back in the day, and trolls and giants and witches and warlocks and elves. Did you watch too much fucking J.R.R.
Dude,
Tolkien?
dude, I grew up hiking mountains, canoeing lakes, camping on islands out in the middle of lakes. I've been up in upstate New York. I've been hike all around. Guess what? Never seen anything like that. I've seen bears. I've heard coyotes. I've seen all kind of animals. Never seen a Bigfoot. Never seen a chupacabra or any of that shit. Never
Well,
seen any of that.
the
But we
Bigfoot is out in the Pacific Northwest, not on our side, and the
but
chupacabra is from Mexico. So you know you wouldn't see them.
okay, I've been in the mountains of West Virginia, Kentucky, never seen a Mothman. All right, guess where I haven't been? Haven't spent a whole lot of time in the sea. Haven't spent a whole lot of time at the ocean or the beach. Never been at the bottom of the ocean. And guess what? No one else has either. Okay. They're not speculating on what's on the bottom of the ocean because they have no fucking idea. They think they saw a Bigfoot. They don't know if it was a Bigfoot or not. And down in the ocean, you don't know what the fuck's down there. And you know what? We might not know for a long time. So that's a little bit different than your scallywbast or whatever the fuck you just said.
So do you believe in the Loch Ness monster?
I think there might have been something like that at one time. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I do. I do believe in the Loch Ness monster.
What about the Yeti, the abominable snowman? Because no one knows about, like, how often do we go up to the peaks of those mountains, like Mount Everest? Like, there could just be a Yeti up there chilling.
Well, there could be a Yeti in Antarctica or the North and South Pole. But guess what? Those are two locations that nobody rarely ever goes to.
Check out this scenario. There could be a Yeti chilling, drinking Bud Light with a transgendered Yeti out of a Yeti cooler.
What the fuck? That sounds like a fucked up Dr. Seuss fucking rhyme. A Yeti drinking out of a Yeti on the
with
Yeti
a transgender Yeti on the Yeti mountain.
If a Yeti had a Yeti, would it still be able to Yeti? It's something fucking dude. Don't even, man.
We're gonna come out with a UBEC children's book. It's gonna be the Yeti. It's gonna be the first of its kind. Could a Yeti still Yeti if he had a bunch of Bud Lights in his Yeti? Cruising around Palm Springs on the jetty.
We have spent way too much time on the news. That was my last article. That digressed into a rabbit hole that we may not ever come out of. Are you ready to go to the Q&A segment?
We'll be stuck in the bottom of the ocean looking for your fucking sea dragons.
You're going to think about this after the show and you're going to be like, man, maybe he is onto something because we don't know. James Cameron went down there with a submarine. He didn't see shit, but he didn't go far enough.
I think there's some crazy deep sea creatures, but not of the like that you're talking about. What if it's like that movie though, Pacific Rim? Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
With the fucking kaijus, like the Godzilla type creatures, the alien monsters that are they're underneath the plate tech, like they live in that environment of like lava and shit, and they come out and they just wreak havoc. Wouldn't that be some shit, dude? That's
Admiral Byrd, the hollow earth theory, man. That's what they're saying. They're saying the earth is hollow and these creatures and Agartha and the what do they call them? The Necra. What are those fucking Nephilim? The Nephilim. They all live in the hollow earth.
The Nephilim, they're biblical creatures also. They're giants, aren't they? The Nephilim?
Yeah, well, they think that's where they came from, that they actually live inside the earth.
Because Goliath was a Nephilim.
Yeah, David and Goliath, man.
But I mean, who's to say that that wasn't just them eating some, trippy mushrooms or something?
Well, you don't know.
Oh, there's this big hole, and then this dude is there, and he just ate a fucking pound of mushrooms that he didn't think were gonna make him see things. He's looking down this hole, and he starts getting all these crazy scenarios going in his head.
Do you know the theory behind Operation High Jump and Admiral Byrd seeing and what he saw in his diary?
No.
He was so far. What's Antarctica? North or South Pole? Is it North Pole? He was so close to one of the poles and his altitude was so high up that he was losing oxygen to his brain. He wasn't getting sufficient oxygen. And what was happening then was his mind was creating images, kind of like before you die. When you start losing oxygen to your brain and you start reliving memories, or you're having new memories and stuff like that. Well, they think the same thing happened to him. Not a DMT release like Joe Rogan and shit talks about. He was not getting enough oxygen. So what his brain was it was generating images. It was generating situations in his head. So he really wasn't seeing anything. But he thought he was. He thought he was seeing this shit.
Do you think they were trying to find a secret Nazi UFO base in Antarctica?
Well, yeah, that's what they were doing. That was what Operation High Jump
That's what it was.
was.
Okay. I don't know. That's
Eh,
kind of trippy, dude.
well, the Nazis beat us there. You do
Mhm.
know that they actually did have a base on Antarctica.
Do you think? Have you heard the theories? And there's been movies out and shit about it too, like Nazis on the moon.
Oh yeah, yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, now that's some shit I can get behind, man. And the whole fake moon landing and all that. Yeah, that's definitely. I don't think it really happened.
Like we're sitting here looking for them at in Argentina, and there's really Nazis on the moon.
And they also think that he might have gone to Hitler. That he might have gone to not Argentina, but he might have gone somewhere in Africa. I think in Egypt. They think he might have fled to Egypt as well.
Really? I've never heard of Egypt.
Yeah, dude. Seriously, look it up. That's another place that he might have been.
I know that they had like he was really into like northern Africa and shit. Like Rommel, that's where Rommel's forces were. Like
Yeah.
Rommel, would they call him the Desert Tiger or something like that,
Yes. Yeah.
or was that just the name of their panzers, the Desert Tigers?
Well, I don't know, but they had a big occupancy in northern Africa, and that's another reason why they think he probably went there.
Well, they controlled that. They wanted to control that strait there, the canals and everything.
Yeah.
The, they almost had it.
Yeah.
They almost fucking controlled the world, dude. If America didn't get involved in the war, and they weren't fighting a war on two fronts, they would have won. They were weeks away from defeating Great Britain, if not days. Russia was a feeble, like we just kind of bolstered them. Like we took German forces and made them split themselves in half. And that's the only saving grace for Russia. And Russia was really I mean, Spain was in turmoil. They were going through a civil war. Italy was on their side. They had already taken over France.
Well, you also know that the Nazis couldn't withstand that terrible fucking Russian weather over there, man. They wanted to take more of Russia, but it was too fucked up, man. They couldn't get tanks through. There was a lot of stuff that happened, man. It's the Russian climate, the terrain, and everything. It sucked. And Napoleon tried to do the same thing, man, and he couldn't get through it either.
Well, shit, Russia can barely fight in it. You can see, what's going on right now with the war in Ukraine. Like they're in that area. That's their home, and their troops can barely fight. They in the springtime you get your tanks and your equipment, your mechanized infantry bogged down in the mud from the permafrost melting, and it's a horrible. But I mean, really, that's where their strategy. Maybe they were trying to come down from the north and flank them from the north instead of just doing blitzkrieg like they did with everyone else. Just blitzkrieg straight to the fucking heart of Moscow. You take over the city, the nation's capital, and you deal with the outlying from there. You set up your supply base, you take over their supply chain, and you just start. I don't know. He had a lot of crazy people whispering in his ear too, like, and he was crazy himself. They were all hopped up on speed. Everybody was doing fucking black beauties like there was no tomorrow.
Uh,
Not sleeping for like 3 weeks at a time. That's what we were talking about with the pink cocaine and shit. Like the Germans just loved their meth.
yeah, they did. They liked the uppers.
So man, we were gonna do the question and answer. We got on that topic too because I had to take a jab at your sea monsters, and we start talking about fucking Nazis somehow.
I know, right? That took a weird turn.
So yeah, what have you still playing the same old things as far as get video games?
Yeah, I've been going through trying to play old games of my past. I'm still on this PS1 kick. Like I've been trying to beat all the Crash Bandicoot games, one through three, and it's been a lot of fun, man, because those games are fucking awesome and super challenging too. I mean, they cock tease you because the first level you're like, oh, this is nothing. Second level you're like, this ain't shit. Then they start really amping it up, man. Those older games were super hard. So I'm trying to play through all the Crash games, and then of course I want to play through all the Spyro games because I love Spyro too. And then eventually I'd like to work my way through beating Metal Gear Solid, the classics, dude. I got them all on this fucking auto bleem, and I want to try to beat them because back when I was a stupid little kid, I couldn't beat them. They were too complicated. I feel like I'm a little bit smarter, a little bit more up for the challenge. So I'm mad. I mean, I haven't played any new. I really want to play this new Zelda that came out, Breath of Wild was awesome. I want to play the new one so bad. I don't want to fork over $70 because I know I'm not going to get $70 worth of play out of it. I know that sounds crazy, but what's going to happen is I'm going to pump 20, 25 hours into the game. I'm going to reach a point where I'm stuck. I'm going to try to beat it. Not going to be able to beat it. I'm going to get frustrated and I'll never pick up the game again. That's the way it works.
What's that? Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah.
Dude, the games I've been playing obviously is a solitary Rocket League. Actually, before we started recording, I was sitting there playing free play. But the dudes that I watch on Twitch and shit, like these guys that are like the top of the top, everybody wanted him to play Zelda, so I was like, fucking Zelda, dude. I hate Zelda. I hated it when it was like the OG consoles. I still hate it. It's just a boring game to me. I've never liked it, so I was like, dude, I'm fucking done. I'm not watching it anymore. Like, I'm not gonna watch your stream if you're not playing like Rocket League or even something like Assassin's Creed. I'll watch that, but Zelda, I just don't like Zelda. But to the Crash games, Crash is fucking challenging, dude.
Yeah.
Spyro's kind of like a button masher, kind of like jump around and smash through shit, and it's like more of like puzzles, like trying to see how you can climb up without falling and all that.
Yeah.
But it was never like super challenging, but Crash is hard as fuck.
Here's the big difference between those games back then and the games now. A lot of the real popular games now are your typical role-playing first-person shooter games, the ones you like. And I like them too. Skyrim, Fallout, Grand Theft Auto, even Zelda, okay? And what happens is if you get stuck on a mission, you can stop playing that mission and you can go on to something else. You can go on to a side quest, or you can farm the level for whatever you need, your power-ups or whatever. Those old games, even as old as PS1, you ain't going nowhere until you beat that boss or you beat that level or whatever the situation is. That's what makes them hard. And the bosses, especially as you get further in the game, hard as fuck, man. I'm not talking like Elden Ring, Dark Souls hard, but they're fucking hard, man.
Well, a lot of it's hard because the limited controls. Like when I was over playing with you that one day and we were playing that what's that game again? The shooter game, the first person shooter.
Quake.
When we were playing that, when we played it without the joystick, it was so fucking hard to work.
Yeah.
But now like the bosses are hard, but you've got like pretty much 360 movement between not just the character but the camera, so you can look at different angles for getaways, and like, so it's challenging because you got to know where to move, but it's not challenging as far as like you're trying to use a directional pad to like jump diagonally.
Yeah, exactly. The kids nowadays have no fucking idea what it was like trying to beat Super Mario Brothers 3, what it was trying to, like, Contra. Remember when we were playing that fucking game?
Yeah,
That shit was so goddamn fucking hard. Now you got, most games are like sandbox play, so you don't even really have to play the real game. I mean, Grand Theft Auto, you could pump 50 or more hours into it and not even play the first half of the game, as far as missions go.
Maybe it's an old school mentality for me, but I play new school games just because it's like I don't give up whenever I can't beat the boss. Like I keep going back to it. There's a lot of games though I do cheat. Like I'll download mods and shit like Far Cry. Like I'm invincible in Far Cry because I like the story. There's games where I want to play for the story and there's games I want to play for the challenge. Assassin's Creed is more of a challenge but a lot of those you're not being shot with guns and all that. It's more of like hand-to-hand melee combat. I'll play that on hard, but I'm not playing a game where I can get shot. And it's like, I'm sitting here kicking the ass and I get shot one time and I'm dead. Like that pisses me off. It's like playing Call of Duty online.
Yeah, definitely. I get that too, man. I don't like that shit either.
And that's why I like Rocket League, because the way they tier you, like when you first start playing, like you're tiered with everybody that's the same. So it's not like you enter into a lobby on Call of Duty and you're 10 seconds into the game and you already got 10 deaths. Like you're just getting fucking murdered. Like as soon as you spawn, you die. Where Rocket League, it's like I can play against people, and then as I progress, they progress. So it's still challenging, but it's not too challenging where I want to be like, fuck this dude. Like I'm playing with a bunch of 10-year-olds that have just sit around playing games all day.
I know. I fucking can't stand that shit, man.
Let's say they're coming out with a new Mortal Kombat. I know that's one of your favorites.
I fucking hate Mortal Kombat.
They're coming out with a new Mortal Kombat. It's a reset. So it's Mortal Kombat. It should be Mortal Kombat 12, but it's Mortal Kombat 1. So it's like a reset on the storyline. And they're also coming out with a new Tekken. Also, I was reading.
You know what games don't get played in my entertainment area? Besides the Japanese imports that I can't get through any of the dialogue on, it's fucking fighting games. Okay, you're never gonna see me playing Street Fighter. You're
What
never
about
gonna
Def
see
Jam
me.
Vendetta?
You're never gonna see me playing Def Jam Vendetta. Okay, you might occasionally see me pop in Tekken 3. I get on my Eddie Gordo shit,
Did
but
I ruin that for you with like Def
no,
Jam Vendetta? Because I used to crush you, dude. You'd get so fucking mad.
no, you didn't. You would not crush me. There were
I
times
crushed
where
you.
I would hold my own. Yeah, you would get the best of me, but you didn't crush me every time.
It was about 90-10,
No, it wasn't.
80-20.
Fucking John used to be able to beat you.
John couldn't fucking beat me.
John could fucking own you.
Oh, bullshit.
Actually, I will say this: there is one fighting series that I do love, and that is Soul Calibur. Man, remember Soul Calibur?
That was on Unreal Engine, wasn't it, back in the day?
Oh, I don't know what
They
engine
had
it
like
was.
Soul Calibur 5. What's the newest Soul Calibur? That's a fun game, dude.
Yeah, Soul Calibur is badass. I will sit there and pump hours into that, but that's one. That's one of the only ones.
Doesn't that have like that dude? He's like a knight or something, and he's like silver.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember what his name is, but yeah, Siegfried was one of them. Yeah, that night he was crazy. He had the big fucking axe.
Soul Calibur 6.
That's the newest one.
Mhm.
Well, they didn't get very far in that series because I remember we were playing Soul Calibur 3.
Maybe that's why it's lasted. It's 2018 was when it came out. But I mean, I like that whenever they take their time to, like, everybody gets all up in arms. Like, what 2013 was when Grand Theft Auto 5 was released.
Yeah.
2015 was when Fallout 4 was released. They develop other titles, but when they do focus on it, when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, it's going to blow everybody away. When Fallout 5 comes out, it's going to blow everybody away. They got to, I'd rather them take their time and not release for 5 to 10 years and then release just a fucking banger that lasts for 10 years. Like Fallout 4, dude, it's almost 10 years old. Grand Theft Auto 5 is 10 years old, still on live and thriving in multiplayer, even on the career mode, like your whatever the story mode. People still play that. So
Same
I
thing.
mean, then they people still find new shit on those games too. Like,
It's the same thing with Skyrim. I mean, Skyrim is literally survived the test of time.
that came out before Fallout 4, didn't it?
It came out when we were in high school, dude. We were like juniors in high school when that game came out.
No, we weren't.
Yeah, we were.
The Elder Scrolls Skyrim, it came out in 2011.
Oh, I'm thinking of Oblivion. Shit.
Yeah. But yes, but Skyrim, that's still one that I can't play it. Like, I tried getting it and playing it, and because it's Bethesda and the same creators of Fallout, but I just couldn't get into it. The graphics were they were way too bad. Even with the graphic enhancement, it's just for a 3D game. Like, I could play like ones like Contra and shit. Like, that's cool, but when I'm trying to play like an open world game and the graphics are totally dog shit, I lose interest pretty quick.
You just have to have it just flawless.
I do with my gaming PC.
Okay, what shows you been watching?
Didn't watch any shows, but I went back and watched the OG Jeepers Creepers last weekend.
Oh, what made you do that?
I don't know. I was sitting there watching Twitch, and the kids were looking for something to watch, and they always want to watch scary movies, so I put that on. So I'm sitting there like in between, and I'm like, what I say? The creeper just got whatever the guy's name was, and he's like, "What are you talking about? The Jeeper just got who?" And I was like, "He took his eyeballs out, dude."
yeah, man, that shit was crazy. What?
That last scene, dude, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Then I don't know. There was another show that I kind of started getting into, Cabinet of Curiosities. That's like an anthology series. Like, it's kind of like Black Mirror, where or American, well, not even like American Horror Story. American Horror Story follows like a season at least, but it's a different episode, different characters and everything. Room 404 is one that's on HBO that I watch too. So I like watching those where they're not connected.
Mm-hmm.
Or what's that one? the robots one, something on Netflix.
Yeah, there's going to be a new season of Black Mirror, right?
Yeah, they're working on it right now. I might even have wrapped. Love, Death, and Robots is another one I watch on YouTube or on Netflix. I mean, but yeah, that's gonna be awesome whenever that comes out too. How long has that been? I think 2018 or 2019 was the last season of that. So I mean,
Yeah, I
it's been a
think
while.
that was one that COVID halted the recording of the newest season, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, COVID fucked everything up. So, what about you? What have you been watching?
Man, I told you about that Murdaugh murder documentary on Netflix, remember?
Yeah.
Well, I was just so like goddamn fascinated by this shit and this Alex Murdaugh, this motherfucker, man. And so I started doing a little bit more research on YouTube, and you know how YouTube is. You watch one or two videos of that one main topic, and they're gonna keep feeding you other ones related to that. So I went down the rabbit hole, man. I must have watched probably 20 different 15-20 minute videos of this Alex Murdaugh. The one was speculating where he hid the murder weapons. The other one was speculating what more was he hiding? Did he really do it? And man, it's just fucking fascinating, dude. This guy, I don't know what it is about this guy. He fascinates me. Not because I like him or I think what he did was good. I don't think what he did was good. I thought it was horrible, but I just can't get enough of it, man. It's like I want to learn more about it. If you haven't watched it, dude, you gotta watch it, man. It's such a good documentary on Netflix.
I don't know. There's something. It's not drawing me to it right now.
No,
So
and it's not going to because it burns just like Tiger King did. Like you watch the first episode, you're sort of invested, but by the middle of the second episode and the start of the third, you're fully invested, man. To where you got to figure out what's happened. And what's crazy about it is they made this documentary before the murder trial, so it wrapped up with Alex Murdaugh going to trial for everything for the murder of his son and his wife. Well, so now the trial's over. He's already been found guilty. So now these videos on YouTube are analyzing the trial, the evidence, the cross examination, and it's really cool, man. It's really, really interesting.
I don't know. I'll have to give it a shot. Something about it, I just can't get into. Like I haven't tried, but I've watched the trailer. I don't know. Maybe it's. I don't know. I'll try it.
Give
Maybe I didn't
give
like
it a
Tiger
shot.
King either, though.
Oh, I love Tiger King, man. I thought that shit was awesome.
The shit it just got on my nerves. Like he's an outlandish character. I normally like those people, but I like the funny shit he said, but at the same time, he got on my nerves. Like he's just having a bunch of coke-filled gay sex orgies and shit, and
He
trying to
liked
kill Carol.
he liked the meth.
Did you see that Carol's husband was found alive? The one that was supposed to die or supposedly died?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
No, but I heard that that wasn't real. It wasn't really him.
wife or husband.
Don, that's his
It
name, isn't
says,
it? Don.
yeah. Tiger. This is from the New York Post, January 18th. Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. Carol Baskin claims her husband. She's claiming her husband's not dead.
Yeah, fuck her, dude. She's a pathological liar. She lies just about as much as Joe Exotic does.
They got a mugshot from him though. They said my husband Don Lewis is alive and well in Costa Rica.
Hmm.
You don't believe it?
No, I'm not buying it, man.
Well, I didn't like her. She was part of the reason I stopped watching. Every time she'd start talking, I'm like, what the fuck is this bitch's problem?
All right, fuck Tiger King, fuck Carol Baskins. What podcast have you been listening to?
Joe Rogan, as always, the free play podcast for Rocket League. um,
Jesus
interviews
Christ.
with like pros and shit from that. They're not on necessarily like podcasts. Watching a lot of Twitch streams between Rocket League. If I find someone playing Far Cry or Fallout, I'll hop on those. Podcast, it's mainly just Joe Rogan. I didn't even finish the full episode. I didn't listen to the Jelly Roll one at all yet. OBDM, I peeped that a little bit, but I didn't pay much attention. I was driving. So it's pretty much just the normal shit that I always listen to. Haven't found anything new right now. What about
Uh,
you? Still listening to the same old shit?
Yeah, man, I'm a big OBDM guy. I think it's kind of funny if you ever listen to the dynamic of the show. Occasionally, there'll be an episode where it's always Midnight Mike, but sometimes, and a typical show would be Mike, Cretched, and Joe. Sometimes Joe will be absent from a show. Sometimes Cretched will be absent from a show. And it's so funny when one of them is gone, the other one just talks twice as much as before. It's almost like they're afraid to talk when all three of them are together. But then when one of them leaves the room, they're just ready to talk. And it's so funny because the shows without Joe, you mostly hear the episode of Cretched. Like he talks more than I've ever heard him talk. So it's kind of interesting when you listen to some of those episodes and you kind of get the whole dynamic of, when they're all together and when they're not together. So I think that's kind of cool. But I'm definitely a big OBDM fanboy. I think they're great. Part of the reason why I wanted to start a podcast too, haven't listened to any of Joe lately. I haven't listened to Joe for a long time. Listened to a little bit of Bad Friends with what's his name, Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino. Isn't that his name?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, those guys are pretty funny together, man. I'm not a big Bobby Lee fan. I really don't like Bobby Lee at all. I do like Andrew Santino, mainly because of Dave. I thought he was funny on Dave, and then I come to find out in real life, he's just as funny, if not funnier. And plus, I love the way he ranks on Bobby Lee, man. He is just constantly fucking with Bobby the whole show. And I think it's great, man. Bobby Lee's a little prick. He deserves to get fucked with. I don't think he's a bad person. I just like when people fuck with him.
He's kind of annoying to me, Bobby Lee.
Well, and he's a pretentious little prick most of the time too. Like he to me, he has this attitude like he thinks he's better than everybody in the room.
I do watch. I guess I misspoke. I watched like Flagrant too, like with Andrew Schultz.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Santino brought that up to me, so that's why I was like, yeah, I've been watching Flagrant, and I watched the was it the Yelk Boys?
Nelk.
Nelk Boys. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
they had
dude.
Trump on recently, so I listened to
Yeah.
that episode.
I listened to that one too, man. As soon as I saw that posted, it was like 5 minutes, and I was listening to that. I love Nelk. Nelk's a great podcast, man. Those guys are awesome.
Yeah, and I've went back in their archives a little bit and listened to like with Dave Portnoy. I like listening to him. He's kind of he's a
Dave
character.
Dave Portnoy, they did Tucker Carlson's episode was really good. Dennis Rodman's episode was fucking great. Antonio Brown, AB from they used to play for the Steelers. You gotta watch his episode, man. I mean, Antonio Brown, hell of a football player. He gets on there and acts like a fucking idiot, man. I mean, it is so fucking funny, man. But shout out to AB. I still like Antonio Brown, even though you played for the Steelers and I'm a Ravens fan. I still like AB. He's a wild ass dude. I ain't
Yeah,
got. I don't.
he's got some brain damage.
Yeah, he's got some brain damage, but you know what? I don't have anything against him.
I like him too. I've always liked the characters like Terrell Owens or
Yeah, yeah,
like the outlandish ones, man. They just I don't know. They're not afraid to be themselves, and it's entertaining.
yeah. You just love watching them. You love listening to them. You love watching them, and then when they play football, you love watching them play ball too. It's an all-in-one win.
Like what was his name? Richard Sherman when he played for the Seahawks. Everybody hated him
Yes.
because he had like a shit attitude. But I was like, dude, no one else on that team's running around and smashing the fuck out of people like him either.
I saw this. I think it was a TikTok where Richard Sherman was wearing this. This was long before COVID, but he had like a COVID mask that he would wear when he would play when he was with the Seahawks. And they showed the overhead cam footage of a game. Richard Sherman was in the middle of the huddle, and all the guys were around him. And they voiceovered The Dark Knight Rises, and it was Bane, and it was Richard Sherman talking, and he was like, "No one cared who I was until I put on the mask," and it looked like he was saying it to the guys in the huddle and everything. It was so fucking funny, man.
That's what I told the guys that I was gonna like. I was on a Twitch stream last night, like the voiceovers and shit. You know how they have those funny ones for like the NFL, and
Yeah,
it'll be like gameplay, and it'll be like, "What in the fuck is he doing?"
yeah.
I told the guys last night on Twitch, I was like, I'm gonna get some of those like the older Rocket League Pro Series, like the cups that they do, and I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna do a voiceover and I'll be like, "Yep, and there goes apparently Jack. What the fuck is he doing? He's just sitting over in the corner jacking off right now because he's damn sure not hitting the ball."
That's great, man. You totally should do that.
gonna go viral. It's gonna get a bunch of haters from like fucking hardcore. Like I'm a hardcore fan, but I'm not gonna go like. I think it would be funny to see some crazy shit like that.
I think so too.
But yeah, all right, man. Well, I think we have an episode here. Shit's been long as hell. It's almost 2 hours, I think.
Just two guys having fun on a Thursday night talking about life.
Yep, it's blowing off steam. Had some news in there talking about shit that we find interesting and our
And
opinions.
And once again, before we forget, thank you to Henry's Pleasure Palace off Virginia Avenue in Hagerstown, your one-stop shop for adult books, toys, movies, and gifts. Thank you, Henry, for sponsoring this week's show. I didn't want to end without us saying that.
Henry's Pleasure Palace. Check him out, Virginia Avenue.
And by the way, Henry's a real good dude. He owns the place and he works there. 9 times out of 10, when you walk through the door, he will be there behind the counter and he'll probably be the guy checking you out for the day. So stop in and say hi and tell him you heard about him through the podcast, and he $10 off, $50 or more. Not only that, I'm sure he would just love to hear about us talking about him. And I'm trying to work on getting him on the show. I'm not sure if he's going to do it or not. He's not a shy person, but he's just not sure if he wants to come on or not. So if we can make that happen, we're going to. But regardless, stop in Henry's Pleasure Palace. And thank you once again, Henry, for sponsoring this week's show.
Thanks, Henry. We appreciate it. So, but yeah, that's all from me. That's all from you. Thanks again, like Will said, to Henry, and appreciate all you guys listening at home, at work, wherever you're at, sitting on the toilet, whatever you're doing. Keep watching. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys again next week.
Peace.